There is nothing quite like crossing the finish line of a marathon, a 10-miler, or a 5K. You've been jogging for a long time and you may be sore, but everyone is cheering you on. Even the most weary runners benefit from the extra support, which allows them to go a little faster and finish the race. Social psychologists in the 1800s were aware of this occurrence. They wanted to see if people performed better in front of an audience or in groups. Are you likely to save a few minutes of your time when you run with others? The answers, as well as the subsequent research, form the basis of social facilitation theory. Social facilitation theory is no longer the same as it was in the 1800s, but it is one of the oldest theories in the field of social psychology. This video explains social facilitation theory and how you may utilize it to improve your performance. Let's start with some of the first studies from the 1800s. Norman Triplett, a social psychologist, discovered that cyclists fared better while riding in groups rather than alone. He next chose to test his notion of social facilitation in the laboratory. Hey everyone, it's Knowle, your gateway to understanding human behavior and emotions. Join us for fascinating insights. Hit subscribe for a part of our journey through the exciting field of psychology. Experts believe that this may be the first social psychology experiment in the study's history. The study asked children to wind some fishing line. It's a rather basic process. Some children worked independently, while others finished the activity in front of another child. Triplett noticed that youngsters who were among others worked quicker. Triplett did not name this occurrence as social facilitation until more than 30 years later, in the 1920s. As studies progressed, psychologists learned that it doesn't merely assist someone accomplish a task while another person does the same activity. Whether they are in front of a co-actor or an audience, the person is more likely to perform well. It would be a mistake to just cite an example from the 1800s and move on. The method we did tests 2 centuries ago is substantially different from the way we do them today. As psychologists continue to test and retest their beliefs, they frequently discover conflicting facts. This truly happened in social facilitation research. It took more than 40 years for a social facilitation study to challenge our understanding of the phenomenon. In 1933, a psychologist called Joseph Pessin assigned subjects a list of words to memorize. Some finished the task in groups, while others worked alone. If social facilitation theory were to apply, everybody in the group should be able to recite more of the phrases they had memorized correct. However, that is not what occurred. People who completed the activity in groups performed much worse than those who did it alone. The study contradicted the concept of social facilitation theory. But what does this signify for the work that Norman Triplett and other psychologists have done on this idea? Let us now discuss activation theory and how it relates to social facilitation, as these two ideas were later combined by psychologists such as James Michaels and Robert Zejonk. These two psychologists worked separately but collaborated to develop activation theory within the social facilitation phenomenon. Throughout their experiments, they discovered that the difficulty of the task determined whether or not social facilitation occurred. Here's where things get interesting. If the activity was simple or the participants were proficient at it, they performed better in front of others. This phenomena is still referred to as social facilitation. On the other hand, if the task was difficult or the participants were inexperienced in it, they were more likely to perform well when they were alone. Adding more people to the mix causes them to perform worse. This is actually referred to as social inhibition. Social facilitation and social inhibition are explored together under the broad umbrella of social facilitation theory. I know there are a lot of words, but I hope I can clarify them for you. Let's speak a little more about other elements that can influence performance, because merely being among other people may not be enough to help you do much better on a task. Psychologists have various beliefs regarding what motivates us, impacts us, and really helps us perform better. One hypothesis is that the pressure to do well for others influences our performance. If you've ever been afraid to give a speech in front of an audience, you understand the pressure I'm talking about. For some, this type of pressure might be beneficial, especially if you are experienced at public speaking. Now, folks in the crowd may have an impact on our performance. Statistically, teams win more games when they play at home. One argument is that they perform better because they are more familiar with and appreciate the supporters in the stands. Of course, the familiarity of the locker room and proximity to family may also help athletes relax or concentrate better on the game. Finally, in this video, I want to discuss how you can use social facilitation theory to help you achieve. There isn't a single formula for success, but social facilitation theory can take us in the right way. If you have a goal, try experimenting with how co-actors or an audience can help you achieve it. You may join a running or cycling club. If you've been practicing guitar, consider signing up to perform at an open mic night. I strongly recommend employing an accountability partner to help you stay on track. Including others in your path can help you perform better and achieve your goals faster. However, if you do not perform well in front of others, it may simply suggest that you need to practice more alone. You are not awful at the task. You simply need to improve your skills and get more comfortable before beginning to perform in front of others, and ideally better. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and gained a better understanding of social facilitation and inhibition. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, or you may see the remainder of my videos in the social psychology playlist. I will see you at the next one.